I know it's been probably about a month and a half since the last video. This is going to be about 4 days worth of stuff going on. Basically, today's Thursday, and we're going to be working basically all through Saturday, or Sunday, sorry. And a few things have happened since the last video. Obviously, the Goldie F, or there it is, got tuned, and then we brought the EK home. Technically, we brought it to my grandpa's, but we brought the EK home. We've got 2 totes of parts here, transmission over here. That all needs to get taken down to the shop as well. But last weekend, my dad and I took a trip down to Virginia for this. This is my second parts car now. I know, parts car, everybody hates them. I don't even like when people part cars out, but unfortunately, I need to sacrifice one to save a few, right? So this one is a 91 DX shell, just like my last one was, and currently, I am draining the tank. Obviously, parts car, I'm trying to sell some parts, but with this car, I got the hood that came off of it on top, and then a spare hood with it. I picked up my gold hood from the other parts car a couple weeks ago. That's been chilling on the Civic, and then my blue hood is back here in the tent somewhere. But this came with some nice stuff. It had a 91 SI ECU, so a PM6 ECU. Came with a spare dash. So there's another dashboard in there. That'll be going to AJ for his. And then that center console that I have for my car, the Eurospec center console, I now have 2 of those. This car came with another one. And the one that I got with this car is the one that I actually prefer, that has the small ashtray and the equalizer slot rather than the storage slot and the big ashtray that the one currently in the car has. So I just ordered one from a guy down in Cali. So that should be here sometime next week, and then I'll swap center consoles. This car also came with the front bracket for that center console, and a few other things. It came with a decent amount of stuff altogether. So I spent $350 on the shell. I spent $40 on that spare hood, and then $150 for the spare dash and center console. And if you know anything about those center consoles, they go for quite a bit more than all of that together. But yeah, like I said, draining the tank right now. I have a guy planning to come pick this up this weekend or possibly tomorrow. So draining that, gonna pull that. I'll probably show you guys, kind of how to go about pulling them. But I've already pulled some of the front end off. Some of the interior's been pulled out. Basically anything that's worth money has been pulled off. Alright, so like I said, I'm gonna be showing you guys kind of how to go about removing the gas tank out of these. I'm not going to go full in depth. There's videos on it already. Check out Garage Built Hondas. I'm almost 90% sure that that's the video I watched, or that he has a video that I watched when I did it on my Gold Hatch. But obviously, first step is to drain the tank. Doing that right now, and dispose of the gas properly. Don't just dump it in the grass or anything like that. I just shoved it in an old Jeep. One of my dad's Jeeps was empty. Figured, fuck it. Gas didn't look too bad. It'll be fine. It's a 4.0. And after you're done draining the tank, you'll come up here and pull the sending unit out, which has this little lock ring. You'll basically just tap it with a screwdriver and a hammer, spin it counterclockwise, sending unit will come out. Obviously disconnect that wiring there, and then the fuel pump will have to disconnect as we start lowering it, as well as the hoses coming up here. And there is a cover down here, which I'll show you all in a minute. But yeah, those are the first steps, and then go into the car. There's still gas in it. Alright. So, if you can hear me, it's out. Alright, now the tank's out. We loosened up these lines. We disconnected this one back here. Loosening that off of the frame rail gives us room to drop this, and now there's a 17 on top of the pump here. If you want, you could just pull the whole hanger, which honestly I might just do that because I'm keeping this hanger anyway, but those are just a bunch of 10 mils on top of there. I think there's 6 or 8, so you'll pull all those, and then you should just be able to drag the tank out, so let's do that. Alright, as you can see, tank is now disconnected. Turn the flash on. Basically, once you get the straps off, or once you get all of this off, and you disconnect the hoses from down here, you'll pull the straps down, and then with it hanging from this corner, makes it a lot easier to get to the filler neck, as well as that breather tube right there. The breather tube is just a regular, pinch style clamp, and then the filler neck is the wire style clamp. I already snapped that one. But usually it's a lot easier to get to that one and pull it off because you can get to that one before the tank is pulled, and then you can just pull the filler neck down with it. But I snapped it, so I had to get to this one. And usually this one's a lot less rusted, so I recommend spraying everything with PB Blaster. Any bolts, anything like that, PB, or, your choice of penetrating lubricant. But, yep, tank is out. We can now drag it. And there we go. Complete. All right, we're back for day 2. Obviously, as you can see, we're in the shop. And yesterday you guys saw we pulled the gas tank on that parts car. Today we are down at the shop to rebuild the front suspension on the EK. This is my 2000 Honda Civic EX Coupe. Automatic, D16Y8. We're hoping to get this car back up and running this weekend. Alright, here it is. Obviously there's no front bumper, the engine's not in it. Got some wheels on it, and it is very, very dirty. Eventually, I'd like to do a full respray of the car, because what you see on the hood and the roof here is probably stuck in the paint. So eventually, I'd like to do, again, like I said, a full respray on it, fix some of the very small dents that are on it. Obviously, headlights need refreshed. I'll probably want to find a new front bumper, because this one is also pretty bad, and it's got some decent scuffs on the sides of it. But, yeah, this is a 2000, and for a 25-year-old car, there is little to no rust underneath. Obviously, you can't see perfectly under there. There is some dents. This side skirt's pretty screwed up, so I'm going to find either new OEM side skirts, paint match them, or I'll do side skirts in a lip kit. But this car has 284,000 miles on it. Interior is basically mint. Obviously, again, there's a lot of stuff in it, so it's hard to see, but little to no scratches or scuffs in anything. We've got more parts back here. All the trunk carpet and plastics are in there. The paint on this side's a little bit better. That fender's screwed up, though. The trunk also is going to end up needing a respray because all the clear coat chipped off, and it's just not looking too hot. But yeah, we've got 285 on the dash. Once again, door panels, seats, most of the interior is pretty clean. I'm missing the passenger side floor mat. It's in the EF right now. But yeah, we'll get started. We'll get this up in the air and put it on some jack stands and start tearing everything apart. Oh, and obviously, no engine. But that is right back there. So, we've got the entire driver's side torn apart. The knuckles out, upper control arms out, strut. Obviously, lower ball joint goes with the spindle, so that's out. Inner and outer tie rods are off. The last thing I have left is to take the inner tie rod boot off, which is being a pain in the ass. But we've got all of the new parts sitting right here. Here's all the old stuff. You can see tie rod boot was torn. There is a lot of play in the inner tie rod. Outer boot was torn on the tie rod. Caliper, super crusty. Had basically brand new pads in it though. Brake pads really crusty, honestly. I mean, even though this has definitely got some scoring in it, those probably could have just been resurfaced, and I could have used the old pads, which are right over there. We're still going to use the old strut, and obviously the fork. The strut doesn't seem to be in bad condition at all, so I have no problem reusing it until we get coilovers. Upper control arm, same thing. The boot was torn into 2 pieces. So over here we've got brand new upper control arm and ball joint, brand new inner and outer tie rods. These might have grease in them. Yeah, they've got grease in them, but I'll probably double check them. Brand new calipers, brand new rotors, and then we have the Brembo pads that came with the rotors in there. You don't have to go with Brembo, but me personally, I love the way that the rotors and pads feel. I have them on my CB7. They feel great. They don't wear down real fast, and honestly, the pricing is not much more, if any, than what you'd get at your average auto parts store. Also have the inner tie rod boot there. Now, all it's left to do is take the old rotors off of the spindles and the lower ball joints off of the spindles, get the new ball joints pressed in, rotors back on, or the new rotors on, and then reassemble everything, and then we'll be on to the passenger side. All right, we got AJ here now.
Yippee.
You don't sound very...
He's not paying me.
Why the fuck would I pay you anything?
He's not giving me food or water either.
Yeah, he's actually locked in here until this car is done. So
Help.
I get to go home and go to bed. He sleep here.
Help.
All right. Anyway, let me take this wheel off. Finished up both sides of the suspension. I left off with everything torn apart on the driver's side here. There's videos all over YouTube of how exactly to do it.
But what if they don't want to watch those ones?
Well, then sorry. Sucks to suck, I guess.
Yeah.
But we've got both sides done. Both sides are done. We've got our Brembo rotors and pads, brand new calipers. I do need wheel bearings. I found that out yesterday, but these ones will be fine for now.
Why didn't you get
New inner and outer tie rods, upper control arms, and lower ball joints. So all of that's brand new. The only thing that I haven't replaced yet are the sway bar end links and bushings. I just forgot about them yesterday, and honestly, these ones are decent enough, so I'll just leave them for later. But we've got our freshly rebuilt D16Y8 here, our unfortunately automatic transmission over there. Yeah, we're basically ready to throw this thing in there. Just got to unwrap it, tidy up a couple of things, and get it mounted to the transmission and throw her in. All right, quick update. It's been like 4 hours since the last clip because I'm too meticulous with shit and slow, and we had to make an AutoZone run. But engine is, the long block is almost completely assembled. Yeah.
Gavin,
What?
I fell.
You'll be fine.
Help!
No. Anyway, long block is assembled. I got to torque down the valve cover bolts, did the valve adjustment. We had a little mishap with... What the... Are you good?
I'm out of here.
Okay.
You don't pay me enough.
Okay. We had a little mishap with one of the valve adjustment screws. It wasn't spinning, so we had to take acetylene torch to it because I don't have a butane torch or propane or anything. But that is taken care of. I just got to torque down the valve cover bolts, but I'm letting the RTV settle. Everything on the timing side is put back together. Timing covers, all that, crank, pulley. We have the alternator on. Figured we'll get all of the more difficult shit put on outside of the car. Basically, everything on the back side will go on. Intake and everything will go on. We'll roll it underneath, drop the car onto it, get it on the mounts, and then we'll worry about exhaust and the rest of the stuff on the front side, AC, power steering brackets. We also have to mount the torque converter and transmission. Transmission is over there. Should be dry by now. We took this down to the car wash, degreased the ever-living shit out of it. So she's looking nice and spiffy again. Torque converter is back here. I know absolutely nothing about automatic transmissions, so this is going to be a fun learning experience trying to figure out how all of that works together. Yeah, I think you have to fill it probably about a quart.
Do you guys want some Dippin' Dots?
Num, 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 num. Flash ain't happy about that.
I hope you get copyrighted for that little bit.
We're not sponsored by Dippin' Dots. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I have to fill the torque converter first and then mount it to mount it to the transmission and then mount the transmission up to the engine, get the flex plate bolts all tightened in. But that's where we're at right now. And tomorrow we're making a little trip for some parts for the EF. What do you have to say about this, AJ?
He lied about the food. I bought this myself. I want to go home and goon. I want to cry right now.
None of what he just said is the truth, just an FYI.
That's what they all say.
That is what they all say, but it's the truth.
I
I'm
dropped
telling
the
the truth. I'm telling the truth here.
You want some Dippin' Dots?
Today we are learning how to automatic transmission and torque converter. So YouTube and Google tells me put it on the shaft, spin it around, and give her some taps, and fill it up first, which we already did. So I'm gonna make a mess here. Nice stance.
It's how I stay stable. Oh yeah, get the inner workings.
Oh.
There we go. Money.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Don't. Oh my. Oh shit! I forgot to record.
I will fight you.
Good transition. Clean transition.
All right, let's put this transmission on the engine.
You see how he treats us?
Yeah, I know, for real.
Hold on, gotta get every good angle.
I'm going to trick you intentionally. So it's just like go on flex plate.
Oh my god. Oh no.
Did you break it?
Oh no, that's the airline. I forgot I was recording. I tripped.
The flex plate just doesn't mount to the torque converter?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, well,
It bolts
It'll-
on from the
yeah.
bottom.
Okay.
Sorry guys, he's a BMW guy, so he doesn't know stuff.
I'm
I
not.
think. I might be misinformed.
all right, we've got one more update before I go home and go to bed because it's going to be a long day tomorrow and it is 1 in the morning. But transmission is mounted to the engine. In the last clip, I believe we showed you me installing the torque converter, which I've never done before, so that was a learning experience. I don't think we showed me mounting the transmission to the block, but it's the same as it would be for a manual or any of them. You just don't have to line splines up. You just pop it on and then rotate the crank to line up the flex plate to the torque converter. And then you put all those bolts in. But I now have the engine harness ran all the way around. You know, everything is wrapped up around as OEM as I could get it. There were some broken clips, but nothing crazy. And basically, this is where I'm leaving it off at tonight. There's probably a few things or a few areas where this engine harness is not mounted properly, but obviously we'll figure that out when it's in the car. It's been over a year, almost a year, since I pulled this engine, so I don't fully remember exactly how everything goes, or even really remember at all. I'm kind of just making this shit up as I go. But yeah, tomorrow morning, heading to New Jersey to go pick up a rear lower bench for the hatch, and then immediately we'll be coming back up here and hopefully, at the very least, getting this engine in the car and getting everything situated. Running is a different story. I'm hoping we'll have it running, but I probably won't be home till 3 o'clock or so. And I have work Monday morning, so yeah, this is where we're going to leave it off. Just like that. Everything is just going to sit here. My mess is still going to be here. Nobody should be in the shop this weekend, so should be alright, but I'm heading home, going to bed. Alright, it's the next morning, afternoon. It's about 10:30 Sunday. Last night we left off with routing the engine harness around the engine. This morning I took a trip to the junkyard to pick up a thermostat housing bolt because one of the two for mine was snapped in the block. Luckily the machine shop pulled those threads out for me, so stopped and grabbed that, and then on my way back I sold that gas tank that we pulled on Friday, and now I am taking a trip to New Jersey, Northfield, New Jersey. It's about a 2-hour drive to go pick up the rear bench to match my 89 SI seats. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the backs, but there are 2 pairs of backs on eBay, so I'll just buy one of those. They're pretty expensive, unfortunately, but I'm getting the rear bench for $50, so can't complain. I also have this 91 door panel here. On my way home, I'll be stopping to meet up with somebody to sell that, and then we'll be heading straight back to the shop to hopefully get the engine just thrown straight in and button everything up. Should be, I say this every time, but it should be only a couple more hours of work. Probably won't be home till around 3:30 to 4 o'clock, which gives us about 5 to 6 hours or so to hopefully get the car running. But yeah, I've got about 2 hours ahead of me, so I'll see y'all back at the shop. Alright, we're back at the shop. It's like 4 o'clock. Got the EF there. Actually, I'll show you all the lower seat. Hello. Hello. You can't
like my Milwaukee?
maybe see it, but rear lower seat.
You like my Milwaukee?
Milwaukee?
Brand new Milwaukee, Harbor Freight edition.
Oh, nice. EK, still here. Engine, still not in. That's the next step. Engine goes in, and then all the miscellaneous bullshit. So, I'm just gonna get right to it. Right, AJ?
Look at my butt.
What? Alright, another update. It's what time? 7:30? About 7:30. It's together again. Almost done. AJ, or not AJ, Garrett is putting the lower section of the exhaust manifold on right now. Entire engine harness is routed. All the coolant stuff's taken care of?
Except one line that we don't know where it goes.
Oh, yeah.
No clue where it goes. No, it probably does go there.
No, because that one goes into valve cover.
Yeah, but so does the other one. The other one, this is an intake one.
Oh, okay, then yeah, that goes...
Okay, it's ready to start now.
That goes there, and I don't know what direction it's... Oh, something just popped. Anyway, all the coolant stuff's ran, wiring harnesses all ran. I swapped out the headlight harness, and the only things that are missing from this is the fan connector because somebody cut it off, and the washer pump connector because I don't know, it's gone. But engine's in, transmission's in. It's just fluids and last little things. Should be starting here in a couple hours or less. Hopefully less. There's a lot of extra hardware and random shit everywhere, but it doesn't matter. If it's together and it works, it works. Right?
Hell yeah.
Man.
I still didn't get paid.
Fucking hit you again?
No, I'm sorry. I'll stop.
All right, what were you saying? Yep, there we go.
Recording.
All right. It is almost completely back together, minus airbox and miscellaneous little things. I guess first start. Try.
Yeah, she'll stop.
This better work.
No, that did not fix our problem.
All right, so as you guys saw in the last clip, we've got no spark. I mean, it could be something to do with the fact that none of the airbox shit's connected. Might be a loose connector somewhere. Honestly, beats me. I know nothing about OBD2, so this is going to have to be something that we figure out tomorrow after work. Just about everything is together. I mean, it's suspension's done, engine's in the car, wiring harness is all in there. It's probably something stupid. I'm hoping it's something stupid. Fingers crossed. If I remember correctly, I know it's been about a year, but if I remember correctly, when I brought the car home, so we drove it up onto the trailer, knocking like hell, which I could throw a clip in here.
It was close.
And then when we went to pull it off the trailer, I don't remember if it either just didn't start, didn't have spark, or if it was just dead. I honestly don't remember. I know the battery that was in it was shot, but again, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure we tried to jump it and there was nothing. So I don't know, honestly. Could be a few things, but hopefully, again, we'll figure this out tomorrow. For now, I'm going home and going to bed because I got work in the morning. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. This is probably going to be a very long video. All right, we're back at the shop. It is now Monday, and we just came to a revelation. We
made a discovery.
We made a discovery. We did a little fuck shit, and I forgot to record it, but we're going to record it now. So here, AJ, you record while holding this distributor. Oh, and mind you, that is, what, H23A?
Yeah, H23A VTEC.
Okay. Let's see how hard this is this time. Right?
Yep. H23A blue top distributor.
So I guess that means I need a distributor.
Yeah, I think your old one is Dunzo.
El Duque.
Hey, this thing sat in a tote for 2 years, and it's finally being used for something.
The only
It is so smoky. You can see it on camera.
the only use that this distributor has had since your possession is figuring out why a D16 Y8 has no spark. Hey, it did something. Otherwise, that thing was probably going to sit for another 30 years. Forgotten about.
It's still going to go back in the tote.
Yeah. But it was used at least
It
once
was
for
used.
something. So I guess that means AutoZone, new distributor. Or I could take the coil and ICM, or coil first and then ICM out of that and test this one.
Yeah,
Or just
swap
go
them.
buy a new one and call it a fucking day.
Nah, that's too much money. There's budget. You got to swap them.
Budget?
Budget.
How much money I have into this piece of shit?
Hondas are budget. Maybe not this one.
None of them. None of the ones we've owned.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, well, I guess, yeah, we'll swap out the internals and go from there. All right, so we left off with using the H23 distributor. We swapped the ignition coil from, I have a spare white over there that doesn't have the connector on it. This one, the connector is broken off of it, or cut off of it. So we swapped the ignition coils out. This is the old one. I gotta write on this that it doesn't work or something, so I don't forget. Swapped them, plugged the old distributor back in, and boom, she started up. So we put airbox on. We're bleeding coolant right now. I got all of the accessory belts on down here. And yeah, we have the heat on. Letting it idle. Seems to be idling all right. I gotta fix an exhaust leak after the headers. Bleed the brakes. Finish bleeding coolant, and I have to mount the automatic shifter cable to the trans, or put the lower bracket thing on. And then she should be good for a first drive. And then after that is just buttoning little things up, putting the ECU back in its place correctly. I need a new stud, a new wheel stud down here. This one is fuckoed, but it'll work for now. Otherwise, we're just gonna let her get to temp. At the moment, I have no radiator fan because, like I said, that connector is cut off, so I still have to wire that in, but I'm not worried about it right now. I'll figure that out after the car's home, probably. But yeah, other than that, she's running pretty good. Not having any big issues yet, fingers crossed. We have an OBD2 scanner just in case any codes pop up over there. Just in case anything comes up, but as of yet, nothing. So yeah, we're just gonna sit here for another half hour while this thing gets to temp, because D-Series like to take forever.
This thing's already almost warm.
Is it?
Look at the gauge, yeah. It's already heat.
She's almost there. Oh, it's gonna sit here and idle for a little longer while we while we let that do its thing. And then it's bleeding brakes. So yeah, we'll be back soon. Alright, last update, and this is probably where the video is gonna end off, and we'll get back to it hopefully this weekend or something, or maybe later this week. But EK was running. We got the coolant bled, we bled the brakes, and then went to reverse, and it was stumbling like a motherfucker, and then died, and now it won't start again. So, it seems like a very similar issue that my EF had, where it'll crank, and then pop. The EF used to just, it would just pop once, and then crank, pop. This is like crank, pop, crank. You get the gist. So, I'm hoping it's something with, distributor. Huh?
Are you schizophrenic? Who are you talking to?
I don't know, honestly. Who are you?
Why are you talking
real?
to the wall?
Are you real?
EK owners, am I right?
Anyway, yeah, I'm hoping it's something to do with the distributor.
Don't film me.
I'm hoping it's something to do with the distributor like it was on the EF. So I honestly might just buy a brand new one tomorrow, even though they're like $200. But yep, this is where we're running off. We're gonna pull this out with the forklift because it don't start, and then yeah, like I said, get back to it probably this weekend or something, and that'll be a whole nother video. Buddy, I'm trying to film here.
Who are you talking to?
Say goodbye to YouTube.
That's a crane. That's literally a hoist. Who are you looking at? Point your hand that way. You're talking to a crane, buddy.
Alright, so I know I said that the video was going to end in that last clip, but I just made a discovery. So, I forgot that I had one of these, fuel pressure tester, this thingy. I got a whole kit, actually. But, figured I'd come back today. 1, plug an OBD2 scanner into it, and 2, test for fuel pressure, because why not? The first thing I did when I got here was try to start it, and it started right up. Did a little lap around the driveway here, and, I mean, it was definitely bogging and not happy, but it did run, and it did drive. So I figured after that I would put this on, because there was no code on the dash, and the OBD2 scanner that I'm borrowing from my dad requires me to put a pin in on my phone that I don't have because it's Bluetooth. So I tested this, and I forget exactly what the specifications are for the fuel pressure, but I know when the vacuum line is off, which I will show in a second. I know when the vacuum line for the fuel pressure regulator is off, it's supposed to be like between 38 and 48 or somewhere around there, but it has not gone above 30. So that's not good. And it's sputtering, which, you know, it's probably a fuel problem. This car does have about 3/4 of a tank of God knows how old of gas. It's at least a year old because I never put gas in this car. I'm not sure if the previous owner put gas in the car because he had it for about a year sitting in his yard. He bought it and basically parked it. So I don't think he put gas in it, and it was sitting for about a year. So this gas is probably about 2 or more years old. Oh, and before that it was sitting in a Copart lot. So I don't know. But the gas is real old, smells like shit. So I think my next step is going to be draining the tank, putting new gas in it, and probably putting in a fuel pump and fuel filter just because at that point I may as well. Luckily, the EKs have a fuel pump door on below the rear seats, unlike the EFs have. So it'll be a lot easier to get to. I don't have to drop the whole tank to do that. But yeah, I'll get a clip of the car running and show you guys what the fuel pressure is at in just a moment here. Little sputtery on startup, and you can hear it's still sputtering, but come over here to the gauge, and we're at about, what is that, like 38 or 28 to 30-ish. Won't go any higher than that, and it's not very happy. I'll relieve some pressure. Yeah, about 38. If I disconnect the fuel pressure regulator, doesn't change, stays at about 28, still running like shit, smells terrible. Plug that back in. Yeah, 28, 29 is about where it's sitting. So I checked the codes. All I was really getting was multiple cylinder misfires and a misfire on each cylinder, 1, 2, 3, 4. There was a code for the coolant/temperature system, which I'm almost 95% sure is simply just because of that fan connector not being wired in. And then there was another code. I don't remember off the top of my head what it was. I'll have to look again. But as always, appreciate you guys for watching. Hopefully the car will be back on the road sometime next week, and I will post a video about it once we do. And until then, I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.